One of the things that we love at the University of Miami is our special team scrimmage, and it's really helped us execute better in this third of the game. Every play in the scrimmage is a special teams play, and every scrimmage kick is fourth down, and you determine the yards ahead of time. We draft the teams ahead of time and divide the coaching staff, so every person in the organization, coaches and players, are involved in it. The result of each play is at the spot, and then it's fourth down. If someone creates field position close enough for a field goal, then they make the attempt. And then after about 4 exchanges, you can cater it to your own needs. But after about 4 exchanges in punts, we'll try about 5 field goal attempts for each team on each hash. It goes very quickly. Then after halftime, we'll repeat it, and then we'll finish with a series of plus territory punts, of special situations, of backed up punts, just to make sure the team can recognize and execute in those parts of the game. So let's take a look at the script, and as you can see here, at number 1 there, we're starting with the white kickoff team versus the orange kickoff return. It's at the -35. And as soon as the orange team takes possession of the football, they can either score or it will be 4th and 7. Certainly if they fumble it, the white team will have a chance to pick it up at that spot. So we'll do about 8 change of possessions there, so we'll get 8 punts and punt returns, 4 for each team. And then we'll go into a series of 5 placement kicks, and then we'll flip it. And then we'll do placement kicks again, and then we'll go back. We'll do another kickoff versus kickoff return, and we'll repeat the process. So let's show you this first sequence. In this case, the white is kicking off to the orange team. Again, what you call strategically, or whatever your systems are on special teams, is really immaterial to what we're trying to teach you here. What we're trying to teach the team and the coaches is how much field position impacts the game. So in this case, the white team returned it to about the the orange team returned it to about the 33-yard line, and it's automatically 4th and 7. In this case, we're trying a directional right punt, a great punt, and had a chance to pin the white team down inside the 20-yard line. The white team will now take over, and it'll be 4th and 5. The white team is doing a flex punt, a double flex in this case, and again, because of the very good punt by the orange team, they were pinned down, but the white team returns with another bomb. So 2 great punts right now, so it's really hard to gain any advantage from a field position standpoint. So now the orange team has it on 4th and 3, and this ball is at the 35-yard line. There'll be a trips formation into the boundary. Again, it's not really important to you. What's important is the sequence. And again, here is a situation where we're practicing our fair catches. We're giving the returner enough room to catch it. In this case, the white now has the ball on 4th and 1. So all the rules apply, all the alignments, it's live. In this case, it's 4th and 1. The white team puts a shift in. They're trying to draw the orange team off sides, and if they don't, they'll just take the penalty. So good job by the white team trying to really be smart and play situational football, and an excellent job by the orange team being disciplined and staying on side. So now it's 4th and 6 after the penalty. The white team will now punt it to the orange team. Again, not as good a punt, so that ball will be around midfield for the orange team. And they'll take over on 4th and 7. Orange team gets a great punt here around midfield. The white team, again, you really want to guard against this as a returner. Go no deeper than the 8-yard line. That could have been disastrous there, but the net result was a touchback. The white team will now have it 4th and 5. So again, great opportunity for the orange team there to pin the white team. They didn't quite do it, but the 20-yard line is not bad. 16% chance of scoring from the 20-yard line in. If you're the white team, so clearly that's in our favor there on the punt squad. So now we've fair caught it. Again, we're practicing fair catches. We're practicing adhering to the halo rule, and I think it's a great exchange. So now we'll look at another sequence here where the orange team will kick off to the white team, who will be returning the kickoff, and then we'll go through a series of change of possessions, and then we'll show you our placement kick. So let's look at another sequence here. This one's a little bit more exciting than the previous one. Here's the orange team kicking off. Again, the white team is the returning unit now. They're executing a return. The orange team is covering it. Good job by the contain element here on the tackle and subsequent fumble. The orange team now will take possession at the 20-yard line. And now they have a choice between running a play or kicking a field goal. Again, there's all kinds of strategy that goes into each play. That's not really important for your staff and your team to understand. What's important is to execute whatever it is that you call and to really understand the impact that special teams has on the game. So the orange team had the ball now on the 20-yard line. It's going to be 4th and 5, and they'll get an opportunity now and choose to kick a field goal. The white team is trying to block it to keep points off the board, but the orange team connects and scores. So now the orange team is going to kick off to the white team. In this case, they elect to go with a surprise onside, which is a great call and really well played by the white team. So the white team now will take over right around the 45-yard line at 4th and 3. And as you see here, the white team elected to try to punt the orange team deep, create field position, and ultimately lead to points. They didn't believe their placement kicker could score 3 points from there. So not a great job on the plus territory, out around the 20-yard line. We'd like to get that inside the 10. Nonetheless, both sides are working a plus territory situation. So now it's 4th and 1 for the orange team. And this is a great point for everybody out there, a great coaching point. Number 87 is coming into the game late. That's one of the things that we're trying to eliminate by doing this special teams situation, is an opportunity for guys to learn how to sub each other, to know where they are in the depth charts, to come in and out, and to make sure that every coach and player is locked into the game and that we don't have substitution issues in the first game. So let's take a look now as 87 runs on. What the white team doesn't know is that the orange team has a has a punt, a fake that they're going to execute. And you can draw these up. You don't just have to run your own. You can draw up a number of them so that you get them executed. So they make the first down but fumble it, and the white team is going to pick it up there at around the plus 37-yard line. At that point, it's going to be 4th and 5 for the white team, and at this point they can either elect to try to attempt a field goal or to punt the team deep. In this case, they line up in a field goal formation, but then execute a brilliant pooch punt down inside the 5-yard line. So now the white team will take over. The orange team will take over deep in their own territory. And we'll see how the exchange ends up here. So the orange team decides to go with a double spread look in this case. And they get off a great punt. Pushes them all the way back to the minus 42-yard line. Excellent coverage, excellent net. Again, that's what we're trying to teach teams. If you're on the white squad right here, generally a backed up situation, you're getting the ball in the plus 40, plus 45. Usually there's a tremendous opportunity in that part of the that field to score points. And generally in that area of the field, you yield points, but because of the great punt, they didn't have an opportunity to do that. So they're going to turn around and go with a fake here, which they convert. They get the ball down to the 25-yard line, and it's 4th and 5 now for the white team. And they have an opportunity to try a placement right before halftime here, and they do effectively. Orange team's trying to block it, keep them off the board, but the white team, because of the successful fake, gets a 4th and 5 at the 25-yard line. Again, gets all the subs in on time, don't need to take a timeout. Got the punt team off and the field goal team on, and really executed. So it's a great learning tool, and the kids and the coaches have a lot of fun because everybody's divided up. So now let's go to the placement kicks. And all we'll do is we'll do 5 from the right hash with the orange going, and then 5 from the left hash, and then later on we'll switch it. So in this case, the white's trying to block it, and if they do block it, they get to return 1 for points. And the orange one, they're live kicks. So if they fumble it, they'll have a fire call. But for the most part, at this juncture, we don't want fakes. We want to make sure we're working on our placement kicks and our placement team. We're in tops on this day, so we're not quite rushing as we normally would, but we are getting the rhythm. We are getting the operation, the battery as we call it here at the University of Miami, between the snapper, the holder, and the kicker. We're getting that operation down, and clearly the orange team is cleaning up here because Jake Wyclaw in this case has made all his kicks, and we're keeping score. And then obviously before we go to the next segment, the white team would have a chance to counter that, to answer back, and generally in that portion, if you get 1 block field goal, that could mean the difference in the game. 2 is going to give you a decided advantage, so the kids have a lot of fun with that. So now as we get towards the end, we're doing our situations, and we'll do plus territory punts, we'll do backed up punts, we'll do onside kicks and against the hands teams, and it really becomes a lot of fun. We get everything on tape, so the first time that we're experiencing something is not the opening game or not the first quarter of the season, and it really gives us a learning tool that will be with our program for a long time moving forward. So in this case, we look at the receiving team is now a hands team, and the white team in this case is the must-onsides team. We're trying to recover a kick. We're not trying to kill anybody. We're just trying to teach and make sure we get everybody lined up. And I'm jumping around here, but in this case we'll do backed up punt. In this case it's a backed up punt versus a 9-man look. On the right side it's a punt return versus a 2-deep look, and we're setting up a return. We're trying to get the ball back inside of scoring territory. Great punt in this case. And again, we're really teaching all the aspects, not just the situations and how field position impacts the game, but we're teaching the systems and each and every play and the technique of every one of these special teams units. So now the white, who received the punt and returned it to the 41-yard line, does not have an opportunity to kick a field goal, so they'll go into a plus territory punt. We'll try to kick it from this hash and down it inside the 10-yard line. Pretty good job there. The ball is going to be down inside the 10-yard line, it looks like, at the 6-yard line. That's tremendous. This situation here is called the KTW, kick to win. That means if we get the ball off, we win the game. This is versus a 10-man look, and everything's accelerated. That means if we kick it, we win the game. In this case, they have one returner back, so we do have to cover it. But a great opportunity to teach your team all of the situations and everything that you teach on every single unit. So we believe in this special team scrimmage. It's been extraordinarily helpful for us throughout my career as both a head coach and a special teams coach, and it paid great dividends for us in year 1 at the University of Miami in our special teams game. So I hope it helps you. I hope it helps your team. And ultimately, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us here at the University of Miami football office.